Good morning, students. Here are some of the numericals which I am going to discuss with you all because there was a demand that they have some problem. So let us discuss some of the numericals based on motion. The first question is, if the displacement of an object is proportional to the square of time. Okay, displacement means the distance with direction, and it is given that it is proportional, directly proportional to square of time. Then the object moves with, we have to find the option. So let us simplify this problem. We already know from the second equation of motion, that is s is equal to ut plus half at square, where u is the initial velocity, t is the time, a is the acceleration, and s is the distance. So it is given in the question that the object starts from rest. Okay, so rest automatically means that u will be equal to 0. Now substitute this value of u in the second equation of motion. We get that s is equal to 0 plus half at square, or we can say that s is equal to half at square. Now it is given that for s to be proportional, that is displacement to be the proportional to the square of time, a must be constant. Okay, half is already constant value. If a becomes constant, then it is this will become the proportionality constant, and thus displacement will be directly proportional to the time square. Hence the object moves with uniform acceleration. Okay, if a is constant, that means a is moving with constant acceleration. Now come to next question. The next question is, the distance time graph of a body coincide with its time axis. You know, time axis is along x axis and distance is taken along y axis. Now it is coinciding means it's overlapping with the time axis. Then the body must be exactly when time is equal to 0, they are coinciding, that means t is equal to 0, that means the body will be at rest. Okay, now come to third question, that is from the given vt graph, it can be inferred that the object is here. This is the graph. Time is taken along x axis, v is taken along y axis, and it has been given that the graph is parallel to the time axis. It means the object is in the uniform motion because the velocity is constant, you can see it. So it means that the object is in uniform motion. Now come to next question. Next question is, a body is thrown vertically upwards, that is against the gravity, with the velocity u. It is given that the velocity is u and the greatest height h to which it will arise is. We need to find this. Okay, so, you can think of that this is the body with, this is thrown vertically upwards, its velocity is not initial, its velocity is u, and the height to which the object reaches. Okay, we have to find that. So initially the body was at rest, so we can say that the initial velocity u will be equal to 0. Don't get confused, it has been given that the velocity of that particular object is u. So the final velocity will be u, and let us take height as h. Now we have initial velocity, we have final velocity, and of course the height is h, and it is going against the gravity. So acceleration will be a will be equal to minus g. Okay, now from the third equation of motion, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. A is replaced by g. Substitute all the values. What we see here, u square is equal to 2gh. Now we need to find h. So transpose this. So h will be equal to u square upon 2g by transposing the terms. This is the highest height from up to which the object will move. Now come to next numerical, that is the numerical ratio of displacement to the distance for a moving object. It has not been mentioned here that the path is straight or circular or what. So we can write down the condition. If the motion is along a straight path, then the ratio is always equal to 1, because the displacement and distance, okay, displacement and distance will become equal, so they will cancel out and its ratio will be 1. Otherwise, if the path is circular or any other, the displacement is the shortest distance and distance is the whole length, so it will always be displacement is always smaller than distance, so the ratio will always be less than 1. Now come to next numerical. Let us suppose a boy is enjoying a ride on merry-go-round, okay, which is moving. Merry-go-round means this one, moving with a constant speed. The boy is moving with a constant speed of 10 meter per second. It implies that the boy is, now here we can understand from this is the merry-go-round and the speed is constant. Here we see that the magnitude of speed is always constant along with the direction, so its velocity, speed along with the direction, is known as velocity. This indicates that the boy is in accelerated motion because the velocity is constant, so the boy will be moving along accelerated motion. Now come to next question. Here are the cases. 4 cars A, B, C and D are moving on a leveled road and the graph is given. Time along x-axis, distance along y-axis. Their distance versus time graphs are shown below. Choose the correct option. Now here you can see that this C car is at the maximum distance in lowest time. Similarly, you can see for D car, it's less than C and more time than C. Like this you can compare. Now here we have to choose the correct option. From here we can see that the B, let us consider the case one by one. Car A is faster than car D. Is it? Car A is faster than car D. Is it possible? No. Car D is faster than car A. So this option is wrong. Car B is slowest. Now come to the second option. Car B is slowest. Yes, of course, we got the right option. That is, B is moving less distance and more time. Okay, so B car is the slowest, and of course the next two options are not correct. Now come to the next question. Next question is, in which of the following cases of motion the distance moved and the magnitude of displacement are equal? Distance moved and magnitude of displacement. We have to see. If a car is moving along a straight road, if a car is moving in a circular path, the pendulum moving to and fro, okay, then the earth revolving around the sun. In all the B, C and D cases, we see that circular path, displacement will be 0. In pendulum also, the pendulum will reach to the same point, and in D case also, the earth will revolve around the sun and it will come to the same point. So it is only the first option in which the distance moved and the magnitude of the displacement will be equal, because they are moving along a straight road. Now come to next question. The displacement of a moving object in a given interval of time is 0. Okay, would the distance traveled by the object be also 0? Now I have given the justification. If the displacement of the object in a given interval of time is 0, it doesn't mean, because we have seen the case along a straight road, in circular path, the displacement can be 0, but the distance will never be 0 in this case. Okay, so this contradicts, hence the option. Now come to next question. How will the equation of motion for an object moving with a uniform velocity change? Since we know that from first equation, second equation, third equation, here it is given that all the three equations of motion, how they will change if it has a uniform velocity change. Uniform velocity means velocity is constant. What does it mean? If velocity is constant, that means acceleration is equal to 0. So we can see in the first case, if acceleration is 0, this will be the first equation of motion, and if a is equal to 0, this will be the second equation of motion, and if a is equal to 0, we will get this as the third equation of motion, that is v square is equal to u square. Now come to next question. A car starts from rest and moves along the x-axis with constant acceleration. It starts from rest, that means u is equal to 0, and acceleration is a is equal to 5 meter per second square. Okay, then for 8 seconds, time is equal to 8 seconds. If it then continues with the constant velocity, what distance will the car cover in 12 seconds, since it started from the rest? Now we have to, this is a twisted question, we have to think of the time. Now here we have, it's already mentioned u is equal to 0, a is equal to 5, t is equal to 8. So first we will find the constant velocity, that is from first equation of motion, v is equal to u plus at. Substitute all the values, we get v is equal to 40 meter per second. Now distance travelled in 8 seconds will be, again first we will find for distance travelled in 8 seconds. We know that s is equal to ut plus half at square. Substitute the initial velocity as 0. No need to substitute the value of t, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0 itself. A is already 5, time is already 8. So from this we get the distance travelled as 160 meters. Now we need to find the distance covered in 12 seconds from rest. So the time will automatically reduce. For the next 4 seconds we need to find, because for 8 seconds we have already calculated, and we need to find for the overall 12 seconds, that means the rest 4 seconds, for this the rest 4 seconds we need to find the distance travelled. Now we can see that from second equation of motion, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. We have denoted it by s2 because it's the second distance. Now we have already calculated, it's 40 meter per second, u is 0. Now substitute 2a, and from this we get s2 as 160. Now we can easily find that total distance in 12 seconds will be 160 plus 160, that is 320 meter. Now come to next, that is a motorcyclist drives from A to B with a uniform speed of 30 km per hour. Okay, this is A point, this is B point. He is driving with a uniform speed of 30 km per hour and returns back with the speed. The speed has changed, 20 km per hour. Find its average speed. Okay, the distance will remain same because A and B points are the same points. The distance is not going to change. If we assume the distance as x and the time taken to cover the distance from A to B be t1, the distance from B to A will also be x, and the time taken from coming B to A, it will be t2. And it is mentioned the speed for the A to B distance is 30 km per hour, and for this speed is 20 km per hour. Okay, now let us substitute the values. We know that speed is equal to distance by time. Substitute the value. So time taken by the from A to B will be x by 30 in terms of distance. Similarly, time taken from B to A will be x by 20. Now we know the formula to calculate average speed, that is total distance by total time. Here we have assumed from A to B it will be x, from B to A it will be again x. So the numerator will become 2x, and substitute the total time t1 plus t2. t1 is x by 30, t2 is x by 20. Substitute the values. Now this will become go in the numerator, and after simplifying we get the speed as average speed as 24 km per hour. Okay, now next. Now draw velocity versus time graph of a stone thrown vertically upwards and then coming downwards after attaining the maximum height. The stone is thrown up, it stops and then comes down. If the stone is thrown up, it is going against the gravity. If stone is coming down, it is uh, towards the gravity. And in this case, the speed goes on decreasing. That's why it comes to rest. And in this case, the speed will go on increasing. Okay. So as the stone is thrown vertically, I have written all these things. As the stone is thrown vertically upwards, its velocity goes on decreasing against the gravity, so it will be plotted in the negative direction. As the stone comes down, its velocity increases as it is towards the gravity. Okay, but at last it will come to rest. So this is the velocity versus time graph. Now next, the velocity versus time graph shows the motion of the cyclist. This is the graph given here. Okay, this is the graph, and we have to find acceleration, velocity, and the distance traveled. So acceleration, what we see here is velocity is constant, that is 20 meter per second. So if velocity is constant, the acceleration will become 0. Velocity, second case, from the graph it is clear that it's 20 meter per second. Now we know that velocity is equal to distance traveled by time taken. So distance will be this velocity into time. So at 15 seconds, the velocity will be 300 meter. Now come to next question. A girl walks along a straight path to drop a letter in the letter box and comes back to her initial position. Okay, her displacement time graph is shown below. Plot a velocity time graph for the same. Now here we see that at time t equal to 0, the displacement was 0. At time t equal to 50, the displacement was 100 meter. At time t equal to 100 seconds, the displacement was again 0. Now initially when t is equal to 0, displacement is 0. Then t is equal to 50, displacement is 100. All these things. Hence, velocity for t equal to 0, and because we have to plot velocity in place of displacement, we have to plot velocity versus time graph. Okay, so we will convert it. Now here we can see, we know the formula velocity is equal to distance traveled by time taken. For substitute the values, velocity will be 0 initially. Then for the distance of 100 meter, time is 50 seconds. Substitute the value, velocity will become 2 meter per second. Now if the time is 100 second, displacement is 0, so velocity will become 0. So here are the points, and we can easily plot the points like this. Here time will remain same, 0, 50, 100, but in case of velocity we will write 0, 1, 2, because here you can see the values are 0, 2, 0. Okay, 3 points are sufficient. So this will be the velocity versus time graph. Now come to next. An object starting from rest travels 20 meter in first 2 seconds and 160 meter in next 4 seconds. What will be the velocity after 7 seconds from the start? We need to find this. So whatever is given, write this. From rest means u will be equal to 0. Travels 20 meter in 2 seconds. So if t is equal to 2 seconds, s will be 20 meters. Substitute this value, s is equal to ut plus half at. From here we see that a is equal to 10 meter per second square. Also we will find the velocity. From here v is equal to, from first equation of motion, v is equal to u plus at. For 2 seconds, this velocity will be 20 meter per second. This is for first 2 seconds. Now again for next 4 seconds, what we see, s is equal to 160, u is equal to 20 meter per second, as we have calculated that final velocity for the first case will become initial velocity for the second case. Now substitute the value, s is equal to ut plus half at square in this equation. Substitute all the values. We find a is equal to 10 meter per second. That is, acceleration is same in both the cases. So what for 7 seconds we will calculate the velocity. So v is equal to u plus at, we have to calculate. A is the initial velocity because it is starting from rest. A is same for all the cases, so it is 10 and time is 7 seconds. So velocity will be 70 meter per second. Now come to next. An electron moving with the velocity of 5 into 10 to the power 4 meter per second, okay, enters into a uniform electric field and acquires a uniform acceleration. Here the initial velocity of the electron is given, acceleration is given, and we have to calculate the time in which the electron will acquire a velocity double of its initial velocity. If the initial velocity is u, so we have to find the time in which the velocity becomes twice u, double of the initial velocity. Now here u we have written, a we have written, we have to calculate the time in first case. So from first equation of motion we will replace final velocity with 2u. No need to substitute the value in this case. First we will simplify and then later on we will substitute. So this u will become on the left, go on the left side, and we see that 2u minus u, that becomes, they are the like terms, so it will become u is equal to 80. From here we see that t is equal to 5 seconds. Now come to next, that is thus t is equal to 5 seconds. Now let us calculate in the second case how much distance the electron would cover in this time. We have to calculate the distance. We know that s is equal to ut plus half at square. Substitute the value of u. T is 5 seconds, a is 10 to the power 4 already given in the question, t square is 25. So simplify this. So what we get here, it is 75 upon 2 into 10 to the power 8 converted into decimal, and this will be the distance covered. Now come to the next question. Obtain a relation for the distance traveled by an object moving with a uniform acceleration in the time interval between 4th and 5th second. Now see here, we already know that s is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, this is the second equation. For t is equal to, let us substitute the value. S1 be the first distance and the time for 4 seconds. So S1 will become, only substitute t equal to 4 seconds. So S1 is 4u plus 8a. Similarly for the second case, t is equal to 5 seconds. S2 for t is equal to 5 seconds, substitute the values. Here we see that it is 5u plus 25 by 2a. Now to obtain the relation, we subtract S2 minus S1. So this is S2, this is S1, like terms will come together, 5u minus 4u, and thus 25 by 2 minus 8a. So what we see here, it is u, initial velocity, plus 9 by 2. This is the relation for 4th and 5th interval. Now second last question. Two stones are thrown vertically upwards simultaneously with their initial velocities are u1 and u2. We have to prove that the heights reached by them would be in the ratio u1 square ratio u2 square. Of course we know that if the stone is going against gravity, it is minus g. If it is along the gravity, it will be plus g. We have to keep these things in mind. So from third equation of motion, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Initial velocities are u1 and u2. So a1 will be equal to minus g and a2 will be equal to plus g. h1 and h2 are the heights obtained by the first stone and the second stone. Now what we see here, substitute the values. For the first case, v square will remain like this. Initial value u1, a will become minus g, h1. And for the highest point here, velocity will become, final velocity will become 0. So we get minus u1 square is equal to minus 2g h1. So from here h1 is equal to u1 square upon 2g. We have already shown this in one of the question, the maximum height. Similarly for h2, it is u2 square upon 2g. We have to find the ratio of h1 and h2. Substitute the values u1 square upon 2g, u2 square upon 2g, and simplify. Here we get h1 upon h2 is equal to u1 square upon u2. So hence we have proved this. Now come to the last question, that is, an object is dropped from rest at a height of 150 meter. Okay, and the second object is also dropped the maximum height of 100 meter. What is the difference in their heights after 2 seconds If both the objects drop with the same acceleration, how does the difference in height vary with time? So very good question. So h1 here is 150, h2 is 100 meter, difference in height is 50 meter. Now come to this. Distance traveled by first body in 2 seconds is given by, substitute the values in this equation. Initially they were at rest, time is equal to 2 seconds. So substituting this, here we have taken g as 9.8 because it's acceleration due to gravity. So in the distance traveled by the first body will be 19.6 meter, and after 2 seconds height of the first object will be 150 minus 19.6, and height of the second object, in the same way we will replace 150 by 100, and this will be 19.6 same. So after 2 seconds difference in their heights will be h1 minus h2. When we substitute the values, we simplify, we get it as 50 meter. So after 2 seconds different heights will be 50 meter. Initial difference is the height, thus the difference in height of the object will remain same because the height does not vary with time. Thank you, students.